go over that right now and give some feedback on these. So, and is this artist here?
Yep, it's Vicky.
All right. So, Vicky, I know we discussed this one. So, overall, what are your feelings with this?
I think, I did several different, I picked at it several different ways, and I think I'm done.
Cool. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I think it looks really good. If you, and this is just a suggestion, you don't have to do this because I think it's a fine painting as it is, but if you want to take this to a little higher level of experimentation where it might open a few more doors for you, is in your shadow areas here, and I know you've been playing with those, they still have a very cool reddish tone. You could push that a little bit, and I do see it like right in here, and maybe a little bit right in here and a little in there. But try the exact same value, the exact same saturation, but shifting that color temperature a little bit to a little more of a kind of a yellow brownish tone rather than a red brownish tone. Brown is just basically, I like to call it, orange that's been thrown in the toaster for a while. As orange can lean more toward yellow or more toward red, brown, which is just a neutralized orange, can also lean more toward yellow and more toward red. Of course, going more toward the red, the cooler red is going to be a cooler color, which is what you want in shadows and sunlight. But you can have, even in those cooler shadows, you can have some slight shifts toward a slightly warmer tone as well. And if you want to experiment with that, you could do that by mixing, like I said, the exact same value, the exact same saturation, but shifting it a little more toward a yellow, which is going to give it almost a slightly greenish tinge. But that could be a nice little color balance in there if you want to play with that. But I'll leave that up to you, okay? But I think you did an excellent job. You did some glazing in here too, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And
I did.
how'd that work out for you?
Well, I kind of wanted a little bit more, but then it's just kind of subtle. But I was trying to get a highlight, kind of a ray of light coming up right on the top of the tree.
Got you like right about there and
Yeah,
about there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and just down a little bit. I think it's there, but I think I wanted it a little bit stronger, and then I went too yellow, so I took that off.
Did you use Galkid with that, or what'd you use for the glazing
Oh,
medium?
liquid.
Liquid. Okay, gotcha. One other thing you might want to try too, this just popped out at me, is maybe glazing a little more of a neutral tone over this. Let me switch to white here. It might actually come up better. Over this area here, and maybe over this area and that area there.
Okay, they kind of stick out, don't they?
They do, and they're going to read more as reflections when you do that. Reflections are almost always a more dumbed down version, if you will, a more subdued version of what they are reflecting. So if they're reflecting a dark, the the reflection is going to be a little lighter than the dark they're reflecting. If they're reflecting a light, they're going to be a little darker than the light they're reflecting. And if they're reflecting an intense color, that color is going to be a little more neutral usually. And we all see the classic photograph where they photograph like an egret or something standing in perfectly still water, and you can turn the photo upside down. You don't know which is the reflection and which is the egret. That's cool for clever photography, but it doesn't read well as a painting, because then it's like, okay, what is the reflection? So kind of think of reflections as it's just a compressed version, you know, a muted version of whatever it's reflecting. So toning down those more intense colors down there, I think you might see some nice changes to that.
Okay.
So otherwise, it's excellent, and you did a very nice job with the with palette knife and some very bold paint application, which was really good, and excellent job on this. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions on this one before we wrap up?
Yeah, I do, Jason.
Yeah.
When you were telling her to, and this is just for my own knowledge, to, I guess, warm up the shadow areas, shift them from the red to more towards the yellow. Would that not kind of kill some of the depth of the shadows then by with the warmth bringing it forward?
It definitely could, which is why I don't want her to replace all that. I think the general color she has in there overall is good. What I'm talking about is just balancing it out with some touches of that.
Oh,
So, and you definitely would want to have more of those touches probably in the trees that are a little closer than further away. But in here, these shadows don't so much represent depth. They represent the shadow side, the part of this form of trees that's not getting sunlight. So it's not so much a distance depth thing here. It's more of the of just not getting that intense orange sunlight. So by comparison, they look cooler. That's and also because they're being illuminated very weakly by the blue sky. All right. But that doesn't mean that you won't have some shifts toward a slightly warmer tone within that shadow area. Overall, they're cooler, and they're still overall going to be cooler, even if she did do it with that more orangish brown, if you will. They'll still be overall cooler than what's going on here. You can't get any hotter than that.
no.
That's the hottest part on the color wheel right there. So she'll still have that effect. It's just that it probably will tine a little more because the one thing is that because this is so hot, this does get pretty cool pretty fast. And a lot of times the shadow area might not be quite so far off on the color wheel from the light area in a situation like this, especially when we know that it's orange leaves that are creating that, all right? Orange leaves in sunlight. It's still orange leaves in here too. It's just those orange leaves don't have intense bright orange sunlight on them. They have the cool blue skylight on them. So they still retain that flavor, if you will, of their local color, which is orange. So that influence is going to show up in there. It's just that the blue skylight is what's illuminating rather than strong sunlight, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And,
it does. It
and
does. It was just something that came to mind from old classes that I remember.
no, and that is an excellent point, and I'm glad you brought that up because that is something to definitely take into consideration in a lot of scenes like this. And you do have a little bit further depth in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that much further away than what's going on in here. So going for a strong, effective aerial perspective back there probably isn't really necessary. The sense of depth there is going to be achieved by the footing here versus here, as well as just things getting a little smaller back in there.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. No, excellent painting. Thank you.
yeah, sure. And thanks for the question, George.
Mhm.
Any other questions from anyone?
I just want to comment too that Vicky, I love that picture, that painting. I love it.
Well, thank you, Marvin.
Yeah, it is really cool. It was really cool. I love the bro. Very, very impressionistic. I assume you're kind of a fan of the impressionists like Monet and all them.
Yeah.
I can see it. So, and that'd also be something good for those of you who might be struggling with, you're trying to struggle against being overly precise. Take some time and look at the work of the impressionists like Monet and them. They threw precision completely out the window. Most of them. I mean, there were some that were still precise, if you will, but Monet was just like, heck with it. He threw it all out. And sometimes getting that artwork in your head can be very helpful as far as freeing your mind to go, I don't need to be absolutely precise with this. In fact, another little trick that I've done, I haven't done it in a while, but I have done it in the past, is I used to keep by my easel what I call my little inspiration table. And if I was working on a painting of a certain scene, and let's say it was similar to a past artist that I really admired, like a Monet or a Sargent or something like that, and then I'm looking at photo reference. Photo reference is tricky because photo reference can constantly troll you and taunt your mind into saying, it doesn't look like me yet, therefore it's not any good. And that's completely false. So if you have a painting done by a master that's somewhat similar or even just remotely similar to what you're painting, and you have that by your photo reference, that can be nice to do where you look at your photo reference and it trolls you with this, hey, it doesn't look like me yet. And then you can look at the artist's work and go, hey, it doesn't need to look like you because his didn't look like you either. His didn't look like a perfect cloud. His didn't look like a perfect edges on this or that. That can be very freeing at times. And I've done that. So just a little tip to give a shout out.